Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome if you're new. I'm Cheryl, this is Table Full of Joy. And friends, I've got a fun week for you. We are doing a week of nothing but sheet pan meals. There's nothing better than a good sheet pan meal when you are crunched for time, trying to get the kids fed, trying to get the family fed, trying to get those bellies full so that they'll just go relax. And so sometimes you need something quick. Sheet pan meals are the best thing for that, and I'm going to show you some of our favorite ones this week. This one here, I buy thin cut pork chops. These are super thin. So I'm actually going to start my potatoes first, and then towards the end of the potato, about the halfway mark with the potatoes, then I'm going to add my pork in. I'm going to add my broccoli because I don't like my broccoli too cooked. So I'm going to start the potatoes and get that in there, and then I'm going to do my pork chops, put those in there, do my broccoli, and this is going to go together in probably less than 15 minutes. It's super easy, but it's delicious. So let's get our potatoes. I've got a sheet pan lined with foil. That's the best way to do a foil pan or sheet pan meal, is with foil. So you don't have to wash the pan. You don't have to deal with all the messiness. This way, all you're washing is with the dishes you're eating off of, and that's it. So you can throw a salad with this if you want to. You can do some bread with it, whatever you want to add extra to it, that's fine. But this has got your potatoes, your meat, your veggies. It's all in one pan. So let's get our potatoes done so we can get those in the oven. So I've got my oven preheated to 375. I just have some leftover potatoes here from something else that I made last week. I have more potatoes, but we're going to polish these off first. I don't think I'm going to need them all. So let's do some. You know what? Let's just go ahead and use them. I think it'll be fine. Not a big deal. So these, I'm going to just cut them in half. If you have any little bad spots like this right here, just take it off. Just cut it. It's going to be fine. Then we're just going to put these straight on our sheet pan and get these ready for the oven. Keep your potatoes on one side of your pan. Wow, that bad spot went pretty deep. There we go. You want to keep your potatoes on one side of your pan just so that you have things kind of lined up. You've got your meat in one section, your potatoes in one section, your veggies in one section, and it just makes for a beautiful sheet pan dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up my seasoning that's going to go on everything. This is one seasoning, super simple, and this is going to cover everything. Our potatoes, our veggies, our meat. It's all going to get coated with the same seasoning blend. These potatoes, man. I'm glad I'm doing them all. Okay, one last one. These sheet pan meals are super quick. So I've got my potatoes, and I can kind of spread them out a little bit right now because I have room over here before I put my meat and my veggies on. Let's get our seasoning mixed up. We're going to use, since I'm only doing 2 small pork chops and a little bit of potatoes, I'm only doing for just the 2 of us tonight. I don't need this entire packet of ranch, and that's good because I have another recipe later this week that uses ranch seasoning in the recipe. So we're going to use a little bit of ranch, maybe a half a packet, maybe not quite that much. We're going to add a little bit of garlic powder, and I'm using this roasted garlic powder that my sweet friend Nicole from Lazy Creek Homestead sent me for Christmas. I'm loving it. We're going to put in a little bit of oregano, a little bit of parsley, just using some dried parsley. If you have fresh parsley in your house or in your garden or whatever, feel free to use that, but I'm just going to do the dried stuff because that's what I have. We're going to do a little bit of chopped onion because we're not putting any fresh onion in this, and we want to have a little bit of onion flavor. So we're going to do a little bit of dehydrated onion, and we're going to do a little bit of sweet basil. The recipe did not call for the basil or the onion. I'm putting it in because I think it's going to add great flavor. I do want to put a little bit of oil on my potatoes. This is going to help my seasoning stick. My oven is preheated to 375. And I'm going to save a little bit of this seasoning because I need to put some of this on my broccoli and on my meat before I put it in the oven. So I'm just going to take part of this and season up these potatoes. The other thing that I'm going to do, this recipe does not call for, is when I put my meat on this tray, I'm gonna brush them with a little bit of mayonnaise. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm going to, because I think it adds great flavor, and it also helps with getting the seasoning to stick. I may add a little bit of mustard to it because I love mustard with pork. So I'm gonna put these all cut side down because I love it when they get that really, really roasty, brown, golden bottom on them from cooking face down. And then once we put everything else on this tray, we're gonna stir these and move them over. So we're gonna put this in the 375 oven for about 15 minutes. All right, friends, I just pulled our potatoes out. We're gonna get these kind of tossed and moved over to the side so we can put our pork chops on here and get our broccoli on here. It's gonna go back in the oven for just a few minutes. But like I said, we're just gonna see how they're getting all nice and brown and crunchy and just delicious on the other side. That's what I was going for. That's why I started them with the cut side down so they could get that beautiful gold color, really start to get some crispness to them before we let them finish cooking. So we're just gonna go through real quick and just kind of pull them up off the foil, get them all turned back over so that we can get our pork chops on one portion. We're gonna put some broccoli florets over on the other. But look at how beautiful these potatoes are looking. So I'm gonna make a little bit of a sauce for our pork chops, and I like to dip my potatoes and everything in it. So I'm gonna put it on the pork chops, but I'm gonna be really careful that I put it on with a spoon so I can brush it on so I don't contaminate all of my sauce. And we're just gonna use a little bit of mayonnaise, whatever kind of mayonnaise you have. That looks like about a good amount. We're gonna put a little bit of Dijon mustard in. I love the flavor of Dijon along with a regular yellow mustard. Dijon is pretty tangy, so you don't need a whole bunch of it. And then I do want a little bit of just regular yellow mustard because I like the combination of the two. To stir this together just so that I can plop it on the pork chops and brush it so that I'm not contaminating this entire thing of sauce. Because like I said, I love to dip my potatoes in this when I'm eating them. I'm kind of a sauce girl. I love sauces. Like I said, these are super thin pork chops, so they're not going to take very long in the oven at all. They're going to cook in almost no time. All right, I'm going to wash my hands real fast. I'm going to put a little bit of this on one side of our pork. Like I said, being really careful not to touch the pork with my spoon. We're just going to kind of give this a little bit of a brush. The recipe did not call for this, but you know what? I love mustard and pork together, and I love the mayonnaise on it. That just kind of adds a little bit extra flavor. I'm going to take a little bit of our seasoning that we have left from our potatoes, and I'm just going to lightly season this pork. We're going to season both sides because we really want this to have great flavor on both sides of our pork chops. So let's flip it over. Just like that. I'm going to put just a little bit more of our sauce on this side. We're just going to brush that one just like we did the other side, getting them both nice and coated. I love that we're using the same seasoning. All right, there's our pork. We're going to take a little bit of the seasoning that we have left and we're going to season this side of the pork. We've got the rest of our sauce. We're going to set that aside so it's ready for dipping. I've got some broccoli, and I'm just going to cut off some florets, and I'm going to leave them a little bit big because I don't like my broccoli super mushy. I'm not a mushy veggie girl. So I'm just gonna cut some bigger florets off of this and just put them on here. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of oil. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of oil. I could have probably used a little bit bigger pan, but that's okay. It's gonna be fine. So I'm just gonna put these, I can probably put some broccoli over here with the potatoes. It's not gonna hurt it. You can just kind of tuck that broccoli in here. How beautiful is this? Potatoes, pork chops, broccoli, everything cooked in one pan. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of oil on our broccoli. Do a little bit on these over here. Now we're gonna take our seasoning we have left. We have just enough to season up our broccoli. We want our broccoli to have some great flavor. We had just enough seasoning, friends. Look at that. We used up all of our seasoning. This is gonna go back in the oven for about another 10 minutes maybe, just to cook those pork chops through and get our broccoli just a little bit done. Friends, I smell it. It smells delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out of the oven. Look at that thing of beauty. Is that not a beautiful tray of food? Cannot wait to go eat this. Ready to go eat this delicious dinner and sit down and relax for the evening, watch some YouTube, and just hang out. So let's get this dished up. All right, give hubby one of these pork chops. It's what I love about the thin ones. They don't take a super long time to cook. Give him some broccoli. Like I said, I like my broccoli cooked so that it still is a little bit crunchy. I don't like mushy vegetables. I can't do mushy vegetables. I'm gonna move this over here. That'll be my portion. I'm gonna give hubby some potatoes. Put a little bit of this delicious mustard sauce that we put on our pork. I'm gonna put this a little bit on the side of his plate so that he can dip his potatoes in this. Because let me tell you, friends, this is a delicious little sauce to dip anything in. Let's put a little bit of our mustard sauce on the side. Just a little bit right there, just so he can put a little bit on his potatoes. And there's our delicious sheet pan dinner. This was literally done in less than 25 minutes, start to finish. Everything was super easy to put on the tray. It all cooked in one, and look at that, friends. I just have to wad up the foil and that dish is done. I washed these 2 plates and I'm in the chair in less than 5 minutes. So friends, we will see you guys tomorrow night for another delicious sheet pan dinner. Friends, it is Tuesday. That means it is Taco Tuesday in our kitchen. We are gonna make a super fun recipe for day number 2 for this week's recipes. I've got a can of crescent rolls. It's gonna make this super easy and quick. We are making a taco pizza tonight. I'm gonna use crescent roll for my crust, which makes it super easy, gives you a really crispy crust. I've got some taco meat back here that I just cooked up. Just simple taco meat, taco seasoning, that's it. Nothing super special. But this is a recipe, or this is a dinner that you can make your family and get them fed super quick, super filling. Everybody's gonna love it. If I could find the crescent roll sheets, I would do that instead. But my Fred Meyer does not have them, and I don't know why, but they don't. So we're just gonna use the crescent roll dough. We're gonna roll this out into our sheet pan. This is also another sheet pan dinner. That's what we're doing this week, is everything in a sheet pan to make life easy. So we're gonna roll this out, get this all on our sheet pan. We're gonna pinch our seams together so that we have a really good flat crust on this, and we're gonna get this in the oven. We're gonna bake the crust for about 15 minutes because I want this crust to be nice and done, so that when I put my toppings on, all I'm doing is heating everything that's on top of it. This is gonna go together super quick. So here is my crescent roll. We're just gonna pinch the seams together, get all of this in our pan, get this up the sides a little bit. Make sure we're doing really well with our seams because we don't want this to come apart while we're picking up or whatever. We want the seams to bake together. Got a little bit up the side right here, which is perfect. I love using crescent roll dough for quick, easy dinners. If you're looking for a way to feed your family super fast, really inexpensive, there you go. We're gonna pop this into our 375 oven for, like I said, about 15 minutes. I'm gonna check it after 10. Everybody's ovens cook differently. We are gonna top this with some delicious things, which I'll share with you as soon as we get this out of the oven. Friends, here is our crescent roll crust. We're gonna get all of our delicious things put on this. I've got some of my favorite refried beans. I've got my taco meat back there. I grated up some Colby Jack cheese. That's what we're gonna use. So when I do these pizzas, because we're not eating, it's just my husband and I. We are not eating this entire pizza tonight. And I don't want the lettuce to get yucky, the tomatoes to make everything soggy. So I'm going to cut them, and then I will put the toppings on them for each one of us. And then I'll put the rest of it in the fridge with just what goes in the oven. That way we can reheat it and then put fresh tomato, lettuce, you know, all the things on it. So let's get our refried beans on here first. That's the first layer before we put our meat on. So I'm gonna use my offset spatula, and I don't want a super thick layer of beans because that's gonna make this pizza way too wet and too heavy. So I can use the rest of those beans for something else later. Not a big deal. But this is kind of like our sauce. Grab a pot holder because that pan is hot. Like I said, I'm not going for a super heavy layer of refried. I do want enough on here that it acts as the glue for our pizza toppings, our meat, and our cheese, but I don't want it super wet. Now, hubby and I both like different kinds of salsa. He likes hot, I like green, so I'm not going to put any salsa on this. I'm going to let him put salsa on his if he wants. I'll put salsa on mine if I want. And it's going to be to each their own. We've got our taco meat here. This is probably way more than enough taco meat. So whatever we don't use tonight, I will put in the freezer, and I will have it for our next Taco Tuesday dinner. This goes together, friends, in just a little, I mean, it really does not take that long. This crust took about 15 minutes in the oven to get nice and brown. And then for this, the rest of this, all we're doing is just melting the cheese because the ground beef is hot. The beans are gonna heat up with everything else. And so this can be a really easy weeknight dinner that you can have on the table to feed your family in less than 20 minutes, 25 max. If you already have taco meat in your freezer like I usually do, then it's even faster. There's our meat and our refried beans. Let's go ahead and put our cheese on. Like I said, I just grated up a bunch of Colby Jack, and that's what I'm going to use on here. So we're going to put our cheese on. And I'm going to save a little bit of this cheese because when I do my lettuce and tomato and avocado and olives and all the things, I want to be able to put a little bit of just fresh cheese on top. Not melted cheese, but just a little bit of regular cheese. How good is this going to be? This is going to be absolutely delicious. And it was a super easy, quick dinner. Didn't take very long. All right, this is going back in our oven for probably 5 minutes, maybe 6 at the most, just enough time to melt that cheese and make sure everything is heated through. Here is our taco pizza out of the oven. I'm gonna just toss this or set this right here on my cutting board so that I can cut it. Just gonna slide that right off. It did kind of split in the middle, but I'm okay with that. Actually gonna cut it right there in the middle anyway. So just like that. I'm gonna put half of this back on my sheet pan because I'm only gonna work with part of it. So I've got this section. I'm gonna cut this into 4 pieces. We'll each get 2, and we'll see how that is. If hubby wants more, then I'll give him more. But this is how we are going to top our taco pizza. There's our pizza. I'm going to put some shredded lettuce on top. Just like that. Put a little bit of tomato. Remember I told you we're gonna save a little bit of that cheese so we can do a sprinkling of just a fresh shredded cheese on top. Kind of gives us a little bit of contrast. Different textures, different flavors. We're gonna do a little bit of green onion. Set this down here for a second. I've got an avocado. We're gonna do a little bit of avocado on each one. So this is gonna be a pizza that most likely you're gonna have to eat with a fork and a knife. Take a little bit, do about half an avocado each. We're just gonna put a few pieces of this beautiful avocado on here.
And then the deadline, the line in the sand that President Trump drew for Hamas noon on Saturday. Your thoughts on both?
Just like that.
Well, they're coming home looking as the focus of President Trump.
Do a couple of olives. Hubby and I both love olives, so I'm fine with olives on both.
And now we're barely 3 weeks into his presidency.
Just like that. And we're gonna do a little bit of sour cream. I have a couple of these. How many of you guys have like several of these in your fridge? I have about 4 in my fridge. There is our taco pizza. That is Taco Tuesday in our house. We'll see you tomorrow for another delicious sheet pan dinner. All right, friends, we are on to our 3rd sheet pan meal for this week. Hubby is super excited about this one. This is a sausage, broccoli, and sweet potato sheet pan meal. I've got my sweet potato ready. We're gonna go ahead and cut this up. We're gonna just use some beef kielbasa sausage and some fresh broccoli. This is gonna cook up super quick, but we need to get the potatoes started first because they need to cook about 10 minutes before we add the sausage and the broccoli. All right, so I'm gonna cut this up into just some cubes. Get this onto our sheet pan, get this seasoned up. I don't want them super big, but I don't want them really little either. I love sheet pan meals. They cook up so easy and so quick and such little mess. All right, there's the rest of our sweet potato. I'm gonna go ahead and season this up. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil, olive oil, in my bowl. A little bit of balsamic vinegar. I'm gonna do a little bit of garlic powder. You could use fresh garlic if you have it. I have it, I just don't feel like getting out garlic right now. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of garlic powder. I'm gonna use some minced onion. This recipe only calls for the garlic and salt and pepper, but I'm gonna add a few more herbs to it. I'm gonna add a little bit of oregano and a little bit of parsley. And I'm gonna season up the potatoes with part of this. I'm gonna season up each stage of the sheet pan meal. There's some fresh pepper. A little bit of Redmond's. All right, I'm gonna whisk this together real quick. I'm gonna pour part of this on the potatoes and get them in the oven roasting. And then we're gonna come back and do our sausage and our broccoli. So I'm gonna use just a little bit of this. That's probably good. I'm gonna use my hands, kind of toss those sweet potatoes together. And it's gonna go into our 375 oven for about 15 minutes. All right, I thought I was recording, but apparently I wasn't. So I went ahead and cut up my broccoli here. I've got it cut up into a little bit smaller pieces. Put that on my sheet pan. It is ready to go. Here's my sweet potatoes. Here's the broccoli. I cut my sausage kind of on a bias, so we have a little bit more surface area. We're just gonna put this sausage down here, make sure we got it all. Got the rest of our seasoning here that we mixed up for our potatoes. We're gonna put a little of this all over the sausage and the broccoli. I'm gonna use my hands. Clean hands, cook's best tool. We're just gonna toss this together real quick. This is gonna go back in our 375 oven for about another 10 minutes, just long enough to roast that broccoli and get some caramelization on that sausage. Here is tonight's Sheetpan dinner, our sweet potatoes, sausage, and broccoli. Smells incredible. Hubby is gonna be super excited. I'm gonna pack this up since today's Wednesday. I'm bringing him dinner at church so that he can eat before his Bible study class starts. So this is Sheetpan number 3. We'll see you guys tomorrow for one more that we've got. It's going to be an exciting one. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. We are into day, let's see, what is day 3 for this week. Actually, day 4. Sorry, day 4. This is our 4th Sheetpan. This is the last one for this week. And I'm excited about this one. I love chicken. But friends, one of the ingredients that they called for in this recipe, I could not find anywhere. So the closest substitute that I could find was the Knorr vegetable mix. That's what I'm going to use. I'm not going to use the entire package because I'm just cooking dinner for my husband and I. So I'm going to just use this. But I'll leave the recipe as well as a note for this here because I did find it on Amazon, but it was $20 a bottle. And I was not spending $20 on something that I don't even know if I'm going to like it. So I know we love this. We use this all the time. So we're going to add that to our stuff that goes on our chicken. First, we're going to get our potatoes done. This is also a red potato dish. Red potatoes, chicken, and a vegetable. I need to go see what vegetables I have because I'm trying to use what I have on hand without shopping. So we are going to go look through the refrigerator or the freezer, see what I can find, and that's the veggie that I'm going to use, whether it be green beans, it's carrots, it's whatever. That's what I'm going to use. So let's get our potatoes cut and on our sheet pan. Get our chicken on there, and this is going to go in the oven at 350 and it's going to bake, and then we will put a veggie on there and it's going to be done in no time. I just have a bag of red potatoes that I picked up at the store. I'm just going to cut some of these. Like I said, I don't need the entire recipe because it is just my husband and I, so I am just going to do part of these and see how it looks. Do enough for both of us to eat, and it'll be fine. I think about 10 potatoes should be enough for 2 people. I don't want to do too many because I don't need leftovers tonight because we are headed tomorrow to the coast for Valentine's Day. Hubby is decided to take me on a day trip to the Oregon coast, and so that's where we're headed in the morning. It's just going for the day to go have a late lunch, early dinner at our favorite little seafood restaurant over there, enjoy the beach. We woke up this morning to freezing rain and snow, so that was exciting. Not. And so it's still supposed to be super cold here tomorrow, and we're just going to escape the cold. We are going to head to the beach for the day, and hopefully by the time we get home tomorrow night, the temperatures will be back to somewhat normal tomorrow, and that will be exciting. So, all right, I think that's going to be enough potatoes. I'll save the rest of those for some mashed potatoes or something, but I think that's going to be fine. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on these. And I am going to use a little bit of this seasoning packet on the potatoes. And then I'm going to put some of this in a bowl with some mayonnaise, and that's what's going to get brushed on our chicken. So I'm just going to do a small sprinkling of this seasoning on here. Use my fingers and just kind of toss this together. Best tools God gave you is clean hands. So we're just going to put those there. Scoot those over and give me a spot for my chicken. All right, let's look at our chicken. A lot of times this chicken breast cutlets, you have to clean them up a little bit, which is fine. I think I'm only going to cook 2 of these though because, like I said, I don't need leftovers for tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna lay these this direction, and then after I bake them for a little bit, then I will move them over. So I'm gonna put that down. Save this chicken breast for something. So I'm gonna put a little bit of mayonnaise in my bowl. That should be enough. Just gonna eyeball this seasoning packet. Like I said, I don't want to get too much, but I want to have enough. So this is supposed to have a spinach seasoning, and as I said, I found it, but it was 20 bucks, and I was not spending $20 on a bottle of seasoning that I don't even know if I'm gonna like it. So I did a little research. Closest thing I could find to that was this Knorr, and we've used it before. We love it. So we're just gonna use that for this time, and it's gonna be fine. If I do happen to find that seasoning in a grocery store or something, I'll go ahead and pick it up. If I can find it for a reasonable price, I'll pick it up and we'll give it a shot. But for now, that's gonna go in the oven, 375 for about 20-25 minutes. All right, friends, I just pulled our chicken and our potatoes out of the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and put on, I pulled a thing of frozen green beans. These are fresh green beans from the farm around here. I'm gonna put these on the sheet tray and let them cook for just a few minutes. I don't like my green beans mushy, neither does hubby, so they're just gonna be in the oven for about 5 or 6 minutes to finish off the rest of this stuff. So we're gonna put this on here, finish it off with some Parmesan cheese, and it's done. So let's make a little bit of room for our beans. So I'm just gonna move these potatoes over. This chicken's given off quite a bit of juice, which is fine. So I'm gonna put this chicken over here like this. I'm gonna go ahead and put my green beans. They're still just a tad bit frozen, but that's okay. They're gonna fully thaw out and heat up in the oven. Our oven is still pretty warm at 375. So we're gonna just let these green beans cook. I love doing these sheet pan meals, friends. These are so easy and so delicious. Hubby has thoroughly enjoyed having so many different meals this week that were so easy to make. So I've got some Italian blend cheese. Normally I grate my own cheese, but I have this cheese in my fridge from something else a week or so ago, and I need to use it up. I am not into wasting food right now. So we are just gonna use this up. I'm gonna put this on this chicken, a little bit on I'm gonna put it on everything, why not? A little bit on our potatoes, a little bit on the green beans. It's gonna go back in the 375 oven until those green beans are nice and hot, and we're gonna pack this up. I'm taking hubby dinner tonight because he is at our church working again. So I need to get him some food because it's gonna be a late night for him tonight. So I need to get this down there. So let's get this back in the oven. All right, friends, I just pulled our dinner out. This is what our sheet pan looks like. Our chicken is beautiful. Potatoes are nice and done. Green beans are tasty. I'm gonna pack this up in a little glass container. I'm gonna pack this up and take this down to church, drop it off with my husband for his dinner tonight. And friends, thank you guys so much for joining me this week as we made some fun sheet pan meals. I hope you guys got some great ideas for some really quick, easy meals to feed your family, get those bellies full. Super inexpensive recipes, minimal ingredients, but lots and lots of flavors. So friends, it's been so much fun getting to hang out with you guys this week and try some new recipes, try some new ways to get food on the table even faster. If you guys have not yet, please hit that subscribe button up there. I would love to have you part of our YouTube family. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a video. And friends, we will talk to you guys in the comments. Have a great day and God bless.